Those with spoiled siblings, when did your parents realize they terribly messed up? I have a brother who is about 6 years younger than me. He was excessively coddled by my parents due to being diagnosed with high-functioning autism at the age of 4. Other than that, he seemed very normal, just unbelievably spoiled. He would use his privileged position to get his way most of the time. And by most, I mean nearly all the time. Whatever I had, he also had to have, resulting in us having duplicates of almost everything except shared items. And anything he had that I didn't, he'd rub in my face however he could. When I was 11, I pleaded with my parents for a 3Ds for my 12th birthday. I got one, but then was told to lend it to my brother whenever he wanted it, or else they would take it away from me. Which they did. A lot. When my aunt witnessed my parents forcibly taking the 3Ds out of my hands to give it to my brother, she let loose on them for such blatant favoritism. They returned my 3Ds immediately, and then blamed me for the situation after she left. They didn't make me give it to my brother again. Instead, a few days later, they went out and bought another 3Ds as a surprise gift. For him. On several occasions, including mine and other people's birthdays, my brother would throw tantrums because the party wasn't about him. He would outright say he was upset because he wasn't receiving gifts or blowing out the candles. My parents learned the hard way that they couldn't enable this behavior and were kicked out of a few parties for trying. Eventually, kids stopped inviting him altogether. For me, birthdays were the only days I had to myself, but even then, they revolved around my little brother. For my 13th birthday, my parents asked if I would let him blow out my candles, because he was upset and pouting. I refused. They called me a spoiled brat, until my aunt intervened again and chastised them for their favoritism. My brother, still crying, tried to spit on my cake out of spite. Thankfully, my awesome aunt blocked him. Other adults criticized my parents, who promised never to ask me that again. But they just went through the motions, while my aunt took over coordinating the party. The following year, a few weeks before my birthday, my parents sat me down and told me I'd get some gifts and a small cake, but that my birthday party was canceled to avoid another meltdown from my brother. I was shocked and hurt, but they didn't care. So I told my friends, teachers, and even the school counselor. Everyone was appalled. Even the vice principal found out and supported me online. My parents grounded and gaslit me for telling people, but that didn't stop me. I kept talking. Other parents started contacting them asking, "What the hell is wrong with you?" Suddenly I was ungrounded. No apology, just a cold "you're ungrounded," and he walked out. I thought the party was still canceled. My brother mocked me about it. But 2 weeks later, surprise. My parents held a party for me at my favorite restaurant with all my friends. They claimed it was the plan all along, but it clearly wasn't. I could tell they did it last minute just to save face. They even got me a PS4, something I had wanted badly. But again, my brother threw a tantrum. This time, my parents finally stood up to him. They stopped him when he tried to push my cake off the table. For the first time, he got a timeout. My mom had to take him to McDonald's so he could play in the structure, and spent an hour trying to get him out. He only came out because he needed the bathroom. After that, my parents never canceled my birthday again. But they never put in that much effort either. My remaining birthdays at home were at a pizza place, with plain cakes and no gifts. My aunt pointed it out every year. They always claimed they forgot to get the cake decorated. I suspect it was because my brother refused to eat cake with someone else's name on it, and putting his name on my cake would have looked bad. Still, I was grateful I had a day to myself. During those parties, my brother always caused a fuss, and my mom would take him elsewhere. I still had to share my PS4, but it was mine, and I took it with me when I moved out at 18. My brother threw a huge fit when I left with the PS4, so my parents had to buy him another one. Once I was gone, they finally had to deal with the consequences of spoiling him. On his 14th birthday, he went into a rage when he didn't get a PS5. He caused massive damage with the chair. When I last saw my parents, they looked mentally checked out. My aunt told me they confessed they wanted to send him to military or boarding school but couldn't afford it. I'd be lying if I said I didn't find it ironically funny.